Can everybody hear? This is ridiculous. Like StreamYard gonna have to start giving people money back or something. You can't just keep interrupting people's lives and all that. This ain't free. Please, anybody, just tell me if y'all can hear me. The whole time. Luckily, shout out to you gotta say no names. Cause if you never said nothing to me or reached out to my phone, I was reading and you don't understand. That's like so annoying. Cause I'm just looking at the information from my other device. So that's why I always say to the moderators, if you can't like if y'all soon as y'all don't hear me, for any of y'all that got my email or my regular phone, please call or text or something because it makes me look stupid because I'm just sitting there reading and talking and I don't pay attention to the chat. So on my end, it just looked like y'all just in the chat. That's why I always say I like Google Meets because people can talk back and forth. This is like, you gotta really wait for somebody to say, oh no, we don't hear you or you're not talking. This is too much for me. Anyway, let's keep it moving so we can get through this because I'm going to try to read the transcripts. I think Leslie might be asleep, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock out and just get through this by myself. So finish the update of what happened today in court, and then go ahead and for the requests that I got of the transcripts because I know that we was back, and if it's just me and Leslie reading, that's why it's a little harder. Because I think the last day we read was Monday, and we read 266 pages. So I had to break the lives down. One live was 5 hours. The next live was 4.5 hours. I'm trying to find a way where I can just break it down for each date for each transcript, each person. If y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Hey, Sir Frenchco, Frenchco. I'm just trying to make sure we all on the same, you know, so everybody can hear. Okay, so basically what I was saying, I ain't gonna get too much in that too long. Um, we were touching on the lady from the Expo who testified today and said that there wasn't a artist as of the name R. Kelly who was on her roster for 1999, which Tracy said that that's where she got um Robert's autograph from. Okay, so I think that part I got that part out the way, and what I was just speaking about was that a lot of these people, females from the accusers, it don't be that people don't believe their stories. It's just it's too complicit, it's too inconsistent, and like I said, with them coming with these stories from 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now I understand some people might not, remember everything, right? But it gets to a point where you like like some things, like I said, you might not remember everything, but my whole thing is, and why I addressed, because it was a lot of comments, like 22 comments of people saying to me, oh, so you really just think he's just totally innocent? So you think he didn't do none of this stuff? Or why do you bash victims? So this is why I just was saying on the last live of why I feel the way I feel, in my opinion. And like I said, regret is not rape. Regret is not assault or uh the guy did you wrong, because you regret something. We all have regrets. We all have passes that we wish we never, dealt with, or we could have moved in a different way through those situations. But you move on, you learn, and you keep it moving. You learn from your mistakes. But you don't try to convict a person and put them in jail for 100 years because you have regrets. And it might have didn't work out the way you wanted it to. But one thing I learned in life, you can't expect everybody to do as you want them to do. People are who they're going to be. And either they're going to change for you, they're going to adjust to you, or it ain't going to happen. But in life, we can't force nobody to do anything we want them to do. And it hurts sometimes when, you might want a man to do this. But guess what? You can't put him in jail because he didn't do what you wanted him to do. You can't put him in jail because he might have didn't make you his wife, or he might have didn't whatever you wanted, and he might have you couldn't make him do it. But you can't convict nobody for that. Like I said, regret is not rape. Regret is not like, don't turn just because you regret something to, oh, he gotta go to jail. I'm a lot. That's because what's gonna happen is, and it might not happen right now. No, it might not happen right now. But the karma is gonna keep coming. And for us females that have sons, and it might be your daughter, don't get it messed up. And when you sitting on the other side of that table and you gotta watch somebody telling lies and trying to get your son convicted, then people will understand what I'm saying by watch it. Because it might be all fun and cool now. Oh yeah, let's get him arrested. Yeah, let's do this. But some of y'all out here, and I heard a lot of them females say this week, they got kids. And the prosecutors is making it like, they want you to do this. We gonna give you this. But guess what? They ain't gonna forever be there for you through the trials and tribulations with you and your children and the life that you gotta live. Trust me with that. Trust me. Cause see, this is not personal to the prosecutors. It's business. And that's the same thing I was stating with Jennifer Bonjean. A lot of people hate her. This is business. It's not personal. With the prosecutors, this ain't the witnesses ain't they friends. This is business. They're not your friends. They don't care how this gonna affect you later on. That's not what this is. It's business. This is about ching, ching, ching. They can care less about later on what's going to happen with you, your children. None of that. They don't care about that. Business. And it's business for whoever else they got to convict and incarcerate. It's business. They just use you to further their business. But what they not telling you is karma. What they not telling you is the same mother that you now, and your kids might be little, because I think a lot of them said they got little kids. So they ain't like some of us, our kids is becoming teenagers and older. But you just don't ever want what you're doing now, 10 years from now, you on the other side of the bench because your son is sitting there with a lawyer. Or your daughter's sitting there with a lawyer. Because now somebody's trying to take their life. So just keep that in mind. And that's the part where I say, that's why I was asking yesterday, where I'm trying to understand, what is the difference between just moving on with your life to all of this stuff. And y'all heard yesterday what she was saying, when I had S on the panel, that she's been assaulted and raped. And that she's a real victim. And she said she couldn't go through with the getting on the stand and all because she didn't want to relive it. And what helped her It's just by moving on, because she said no amount of jail, nothing will ever take away what the man did to her. So that's why I say, when I hear the real victims say that, but then these ones that run into the camera, running to get book deals, it don't add up. It doesn't. And nobody's telling you later on in life it's going to come back. No matter how much y'all try to convict Robert, no matter how the world and life has to go forward. And if I'm not mistaken, Tracy said she's 40, Rashana, 38? The girl Pauline look like she about 35, 30. Y'all got your whole life ahead of y'all. Y'all kids is toddlers. Y'all ain't even get to the point where they about 10, 11. And then let's pray that the fathers that y'all with are going to raise them children. Because if not, it's really going to be hard. So I just want them to, because I know they be watching all of our channels and all that. It's not me bashing. It's just I can read in between the lines when I know it's bullcrap. And these people are pushing y'all to be involved with what is it's business. It ain't personal. Them prosecutors don't care about none of that. This is business. At the end of the day, if they convict R. Kelly, somebody's getting a check. That's it. That's it. They going on to the next convictions. Or who else they gonna convict? It's a revolving door. So it's never me just out here bashing. No. These are females who probably hearts were broken. These are females who expected this man to go and please as they wanted him to, when they knew what he was when they met him. And then what gets me is a lot of them at that time, y'all knew this man was married. And you still chose to go on whatever long way he wanted, what y'all wanted to do. Same with the Bill Cosby females. You got them complaining how he was kicking them out after he was done, whatever they did, because he was married. And you showing up to a married man house at 3 a.m, what did you expect? So that's why I say regrets is not rape. Regrets is not because he hurt you, convict him. No. So let's get back on this so I don't be here too long. I just wanted to address that, and then the last live shut off. So I'm sorry about that. I hope that StreamYard fixes it, because it's really becoming a problem. And they take their money right out. So it's just a lot. So I'll try to fix that later and send them an email and ask them. I don't know what it is. It just say at the top, they're supposed to be unlimited. But then it comes up with the numbers. The ticker thing is on. But then all of a sudden on the last live, the screen was just there. And then I see where it stopped and everything shut down to the bottom of it. So I don't know why that happened. Hey, Miss APZ, stand up. Fritz. Hey, Miss Hollywood. Okay, let's keep going. I don't know why this doing this. Okay, so what was I saying? Tracy. So after so what we saying? 19. I think this was 1990. We got that established, the 1999 2000 thing, right? Okay. Sorry. And y'all know they brought Tom Arnold in too, right? So Tom Arnold testified today. Remember I told y'all about Tom Arnold? Tom used to work for Robert. They brought Tom up in the New York trial. And I never understood why in the New York trial they didn't let Tom Arnold come to testify. So that was good too on the defense that they pulled Tom Arnold, because he should have been testifying in New York, because Tom Arnold was around a lot during the chocolate factory time, and what was that, when the Geronda Pace thing happened, when she jumped over the fence. Tom Arnold was the manager then. So I'm gonna just try to get through these, y'all, before I start this reading. I know it's late. I know some people off for the holiday. I just hope y'all can rock out with me. And whoever get back on the replay, then we just go from there. Okay. Then it was the Homeland Security agent who testified. Now the Homeland Security agent investigations, they testified today about the, Lisa Van Allen, and about the dates and a video shoot and all the stuff that she, stated when she talked to the investigators. Excuse me. I'm just trying to go down so I don't forget all my notes. Okay. Okay. Then we have the other Homeland Security agent who Tracy told that, remember Tracy said she didn't recognize Rashana? No, this part I don't think I said to y'all. Remember when Tracy said she had a threesome with Rashana? This was when she just testified the other day. But then when she met with the Homeland Security agent, she told them she couldn't recognize Rashana, which proves that she lied when she said he brought Rashana in to have a threesome. Because how you can't recognize her, but then you come and testify afterwards and say she was the one who he brought to have a threesome with. But when Rashana testified, she not once ever said she had a threesome with Tracy. She said Pauline and Brittany. Pinky Brittany. Then they also talked about some of the tapes included Robert and his ex-wife Drea. No minors. Excuse me. And then that's another thing. Bajin was asking about the interview the investigators conducted with Tracy's friend, right? Now, in 2019, the report said that her friend said she thought Tracy was 18 when they met in a hotel. But then Tracy said that Robert raped her. Well, she said he tried to insert himself into her and he stopped. And she said at that incident, she was 16. So that's what I'm saying. On the lawsuit, you put you 17. So not only did you lie about the Expo event with the autograph, then the event that you said when y'all was at the hotel, how your age moving backwards? When the Expo event was first. Thank you, Nova. Honey, listen. These late nights is all I've been having because during the day I'm so busy, can't. I think when they was talking about Robert talking about what did he say, wolf mooners or full moon, something like that, honey. I've been on a full moon for the last, literally since the trial started. But thank you for being here. So her story was like, yo, her story is just too shaky for me. And with all the shakiness with her story, this how you know she went to Susan Logan's and got this lawsuit. Cause she ain't have to tell the truth. She ain't have to provide accurate information. Cause Susan Logan was already on it. Long as you say he did this or whatever, she gonna go right through. To me, I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying my opinion. Susan Logan was already in connection with Barry Hankerson and Darren McDavid. So they was just bringing the females back and forth. And somebody was saying earlier when I was watching somebody's live, they trying to figure out how did these females just know to go to Susan Logan. I told y'all she had a commercial. I'm gonna try to see if I can record it so I can upload it to show y'all. It was a commercial. Like she must have paid to get the you know how now different commercials pay to get their content, like on the ads on YouTube, or like if you watching regular TV, you'll see a commercial come through the screen. They pay for them ads. And that's what I think Susan Logan did when she was looking for these females. Because it was a commercial. Then in Chicago, it was a newspaper clipping. I seen the clipping so many times and, just would laugh and keep it pushing. It was a clipping in the newspaper. Like, if you have any information that R. Kelly did this to you, that please call or contact my firm and we will seek for you to get compensation. Yes. And when Geronda testified in New York that she found Susan Logan information on the internet, she probably wasn't lying. Excuse me. So, after that, Jennifer Bongine was asking the investigator about Witherspoon never told that Tracy was 16 during the time of the Weston incident at the hotel. Because, again, like I told y'all, she said that Tracy was 18. But during the trial, now she want to bring up the incident at the Weston. Tracy was 16. And I'm going to tell y'all why they're doing that. Because Tracy's trying to say that Robert tried to force himself into her. So her girlfriend supposed to have went to get breakfast, or they claim Robert sent her out to go get breakfast, and she ain't come back for 2 hours or something. And Tracy claimed this is when the incident took place, when he tried to force himself into her. And this is why I'm telling y'all, it's bullcrap, because if that's the case, why you ain't call authorities? Like, this man, you say he tried to force himself into you, whatever. When you was at that hotel, why you ain't call authorities right then and there? And then she told her girlfriend said that Tracy was 18 during this altercation. But now you switching and saying, no, she was 16. So Bajin was just going back and forth with the investigator about Witherspoon's testimony. And let me tell you how I know that her girlfriend was going to start saying, like, she don't remember and all this, because she testified the other day and said, I'm 40 years old. She said, I got kids now. This situation was like a long time ago. So I can't remember every little detail, every date. But no, sweetie. The information you gave up wasn't little details. These are big details, because it also proves that she wasn't a minor. It also proves that y'all wasn't at this expo when she's claiming she got this autograph from him. It also proves that now that they trying to charge him with this new Chicago case, that now y'all coming around saying she was 16. And not only that, she got a whole a, um a payout. So yes, that's a problem. That's a problem. So that was that part. Then moving into 2019 interview, the investigator conducted with Rkelly'S alleged victim Jane excuse me, Jane. Bajin asks if the investigator showed Jane a picture of Tracy. And if Jane said she didn't recognize Tracy. And the investigator, like I'm just telling y'all, said yes. Even Rashana, when they showed her Tracy's picture, she was like, "Nah, I don't remember her. I haven't seen her before." So if Rashana's saying she don't know you, how the hell you had a threesome with her? This is what I mean by conflicted stories. This is somebody you claim that Rashana bent down. She said Rashana got down and gave her oral and was eating her out, and she was crying because she didn't want to do it and all this, that, and third. And like I said, with that part, why you ain't get up and leave? I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. She talking about she sat there and let Rashana eat her out, and she just was crying. Like, this just sounds stupid. So yes, Rashana said that no, she cannot recognize Tracy. Then Brinley asks the investigator if Lisa Van Hollen in 2019, with her grand jury statement, she indicated that Keith Morrell had one of Kelly's sex tapes and agreed to travel to Chicago in 2007 to return the tape. The investigator affirms that, yep, Lisa Van Hollen's statement was that Keith Morrell had one of the tapes and that he agreed to go return the tape. So Brinley concludes that questioning for the investigator. Prosecution up for cross-examination. Prosecutor Jason Julian asks if interview reports are the witness's own words or those of the investigator. The investigator says the reports are her own summation of the interview. Now, they know that these is the girl own words. How the investigator gonna tell their story? This is the information that they sit there and tell the investigator. This is how the prosecutors get when they go to the grand jury. This is how they're able to get an indictment. This is how they're able to get the judge to get arrest warrants and get the charges to to stick because of what all these people were saying to the grand jury. So I was surprised when Jason Julian said that. Like, what the heck do you mean? Is this their own words? Oh my God. The investigator also says interviews with a witness can produce information that didn't come to light in a first interview. Prosecution seems to be rebutting defense points that Pauline didn't mention her age in her first interview, only doing so later. The investigator also tells prosecution sometimes several days can pass between interviews being conducted and the reports getting written up. The lawyers are fighting over whether this line of questioning is appropriate with defense. It is not response to the arguments. So the judge was going back and forth, objection and sustaining back and forth. Bajin asked the investigator if her reports, even if they were written days after she conducts her interview, are based on notes she takes while the interviews are taking place. The investigator agrees. The investigator also says that it is her duty to make her reports accurate to a witness statement. And that's what I'm saying. The prosecution trying to make it seem like, okay, if the investigator puts the information in 2 days later, that don't mean that they're not putting what the witnesses say. They can't just go make up because if that's the case, they can say, okay, when the prosecutors in New York, Koenig was asking Azriel, like, did you say this? This was in your report for when you was talking to the AUSS attorneys. And she kept saying, I ain't say that. And he was like, are you indicating that the AUSA attorneys put this? She was like, I ain't write that. She like, that's not my words. So that's all they doing. They playing the back and forth because now they trying to say these is their colleagues. I forgot, these their colleagues. So you know that when these females was coming to make these statements, they're your co-workers. So you know darn well that they take the information down that these females are giving to them. And then they put everything in that's in their notes, and they pass the stuff over. Um Judge Leonard Weber decides to suspend proceedings until Tuesday after the defense has until Tuesday, as defense has no other witnesses to call today. Defense plans to rest in case sometimes next week, after which the jury will begin deliberating. So they was kind of slow today too with the excuse me, the notes, y'all. So mine's is back and forth. Also, the next witness, well, I told y'all it was two different Homeland Security investigators. Uh, with Pauline, the investigator also says that the interview of Rkelly'S alleged victim Pauline for the first time in June 2019. Majin asks, isn't it true that Pauline never disclosed she had a sexual relationship with Kelly when she was 14? The investigator says Pauline only disclosed that information in a later interview, not in the first interview conducted in June 2019. So, of course, they comeback line is, no, Pauline line the other day was that the reason she never talked about it because she loved Kelly and she didn't want to get him in no trouble. That's their comeback line. So my thing be, well, what's the difference? You ain't want to give him no trouble. Oh, so now you decided, oh, I'm gonna get him in trouble now. But then you say in open court you still love him now, girl. You all over the place. Oh, I don't want y'all to think I'm weird or anything, but in a weird way, it's like what she say, like best friend meets daddy. To this day, I still can't figure out what the heck does that mean. And if anybody in the chat could, uh, like, give me some type of clarification or something, I never heard nobody say that. Girl, she said in a weird way, it's like best friend. What she say? Girl meets best friend, loves daddy, or meets daddy. Something. Again, if somebody know what this means, please elaborate, because I am totally lost with that comment. I didn't understand nothing about that comment that she made, and it really sound really kind of crazy. Like, I think she meant to say something else, but she just said that. So yeah, but I that comment sound real I don't know. Let's see what else is important here. And that's another thing you got to remember. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, why they can't get impeached? Because they lied. That's showing that they lied. The way they say it is like this. The difference between hearsay and the females just saying like if they off on some dates, or if they might not remember like the exact time and the stuff, or they might or they might do uh throw in a little lie or something, right? The way people telling me is like they give them room to do that, because whatever their original, I guess their statements was to the grand jury recently, because you see this is why the defense is bringing their original statements from from the investigators that they gave, right? But in this issue, and I see Jim Derogatis talked about this yesterday, because they were saying to him, well, a lot of these female stories are conflicted because they were coming back and forth. And this is where the problem is, because the prosecutors are giving all of them uh, immunity for that. So this is why they made it a habit of like coming back and forth and saying this, coming back and forth and saying that. So everybody's not understanding, because again, the prosecutors gave them immunity, and they gave them so like, forget that they lied, right? My thing be that stop trying to make it seem like that they lied because they were scared or they was threatened, right? So now that they hear they can get restitution and Section 8 and everything else, oh, this is a reason for them to say that when they talked before, that they weren't telling the truth because they were scared of him but now they're telling the truth. That's the issue. So I think that everybody is just like, it doesn't make sense. How are they able to, be caught in a lie right then and there, and they don't impeach their testimony? I think that with the defense bringing all these people now to clarify about Tracy's statement, Pauline not saying nothing about her having sex with Robert when he's 14, Tracy's friend Witherspoon saying that Tracy was really 18 at the time in the Westin Hotel incident, the Expo incident. This is why the defense is coming back with these people to let the jury hear. See, y'all heard what she was saying, that wasn't that. But the good thing about all of this is it all goes on the record. And when the jury go back to deliberate, they will have all of this to look over. Like, the jury is supposed to look over all, like, okay, like how we read the transcripts and stuff. But they supposed to look over all the evidence, everything that was presented in court. So if y'all understand where like I'm coming from with it, because I get what everybody's saying. Uh, they should be impeached, and I try to get a lot of research off of why they don't impeach them right then and there. It's not that simple. Like I said, they give them room to, it seems like to me, lie a little, or not be accurate with some dates, or their whole thing is it's the prosecution to present the case. So when they're asking them, did he do this? Yes, I was 14 when he did it. Did he do it? Da, da, da. But again, you still have the defense who's able to come and show where they have lied. Now, I think if it's an exact statement, like Tracy's was saying, no, I was 16. To me, that should be an impeachment, because It ain't no, oh, I forgot that you knew you wasn't 16. So I don't know what they're going to do. And remember, Lisa Van Allen already been there before with the getting the perjury and got kicked out of the court. No, she went through that in 2008. So this is why I say this is how you know the prosecutors are so desperate to try to convict this man, because you know that your witnesses are incredible. They know that these females is a waste of time. They know this, but they don't have nothing else. They don't have no other witnesses to use, y'all. So this is why you see, and somebody was saying yesterday, they getting so tired of seeing Lisa Van Allen not moving on with her life, and every 2 years she want to try to convict Robert. But this is all the prosecutors have. They don't have, like everybody kept saying, oh, y'all gonna see new girls and y'all gonna see eighth graders and people y'all never heard about. That's bullshit. This is the same people. This is the same uh stories. This is, and when you compare the Homeland Security investigators, you say this is the same people. Ain't no different. All they did was switch their stories up. That's it. But everybody's the same. And they just a little older now, if you want to say that. And that's another thing I want to see. If when they made these statements, I wonder if they jotted down their age for them dates. So basically, like I said, I hope that they go ahead and try to see if they can, I guess, match the ages up, or when I think they should have that though. When they testified, they should have, because they probably had to sign and all that stuff. So, oh, and then the judge agrees. They had brought up about the verdict form. Rkelly'S co-defendant lawyer, Brinley, noted that the guilty boxes are on the right, and he asked if they could be moved to the left. Apparently, on the theory, it makes it more likely juries would check it. I don't know. That's what they were talking about. And if y'all seen this before, it was the verdict forms that I posted in New York is the same thing. Um, so instead of for having guilty on the left, he's asking can they take and put the not guilty boxes on the right, swipe it, because they saying, like, I guess the theory is if the guilty is right there on the left, that's the first thing they'll check. But if the not guilty is over there, it kind of helps it. And then we can also hear this one. And then I'll try to get into these transcripts. I'm only going to read the last one from, I think I'm missing the other half of Lisa Van Allen's. And I'll just do it by myself because, like I said, she's asleep.
Next up. First on the stand was Christopher Wilson, a former CPD officer and family friend of Daryl McDavid, who testified that McDavid told him R. Kelly was being blackmailed. He said he traveled to Kansas City with a private investigator to meet with the alleged blackmailer. He said he did not personally witness anything illegal, and as a cop, he would have been required to report it. Next up was Mary Green, who planned a 1999 Expo at McCormick Place, where one of Kelly's accusers says she met the singer when she was just 16. But Green testified under oath that to her knowledge, Kelly wasn't at the 1999 Expo. He was at the Expo the following year. The witness who spent the longest amount of time on the stand was audio engineer Tom Arnold, who worked for Kelly for about 8 years starting in 2003. Arnold said it was very normal for him to cash checks at a bank and handle large amounts of cash for Kelly. He said the largest sum was approximately $125,000 in cash. He said he drove people for Kelly and that drivers were not supposed to talk to Kelly's female guests. Ronald Winters took the stand after Arnold. He worked as a personal assistant to R. Kelly's criminal defense attorney in his Cook County case. He said he viewed multiple VHS tapes of Kelly having sex with different women, but Winters said none of them appeared to be underage. Winters thought one of the tapes showed Kelly's then wife, not an underage girl, as prosecutors have argued. Lastly, the defense teams questioned Homeland Security Investigations agent Amalia Molina about discrepancies in some of the accuser's statements. Now, the judge also declined a motion to acquit from the defense. That was expected. Jurors were excused until Tuesday at 10 a.m. This afternoon, they were working on finalizing those jury instructions. R. Kelly's attorney said the singer was not feeling well, so he will not be participating in that process. In the news up was Mary Green, who planned a...
So, I don't know where they got that part from. I heard that Robert as well. But I know he's not testifying on his behalf. But Daryl McDavid is. And you have that right. Like, because everybody want to say, oh, he need to testify. If somebody's saying I'm on tapes or if I did this, I would get up there and, I would testify. But you don't even see these people testifying in their own cases. So how you going to say he should testify when that's your defense? That's why you have lawyers. That's why you have a defense to fight for you. If that was the case, then we would just represent ourselves. And we, want to just come up there and talk and all that. And as far as the legal part of it, if you don't know the legal part, then no, I don't advise nobody to get up there and talk. I don't. So he has that right. And just because he don't want to testify, that don't mean he's guilty. How many people you know that be in cases and they don't testify on their behalf? That's why you got lawyers. So I don't understand how that makes him guilty when you got all these different people who are coming with all these conflicting stories. And like I said, some people probably do remember their past or 20 years ago. But if you really think about it and you ask a certain guy, like, okay, how many women you slept with in the last 20 years? Some guys probably going to be able to say, this girl, that female. But do they remember every date that they was with the female? Do they remember the time, where they was at, what age was they? No. That's why I say when they do this is to more be on the accuser's side, because like the George Foreman, he's 73. The females are saying that he assaulted them when he was 22. The man done had a full life, all type of things, events took place in the man's life in the last 30, 40 years. So can you really sit up here and say that he gonna remember now he gonna know if he assault somebody? Yeah. But the point I'm making is that it's too long of a stretch of time. So I'm not just gonna say because he won't testify on his behalf, he's guilty. Nah, that don't even make sense. How many people have trials and everybody don't testify on their behalf? And you have that right. And that right don't make you guilty. Now, some people like to get up there and talk and say how they feel, but this is a very emotional uh case, and These is females who he also was in relationships with for years and years and decades. So when you emotional like that, my advice is no. See, a lot of these females, y'all making it seem like they willingly are testifying. They're not. They was given immunity. So they had to testify. They had no choice. If they had a choice, guess what? They wouldn't be testifying either. But they had got immunity, so they had to. Give me 1 second, y'all. That wasn't it.